everybody, it's Kyle. Hey, today I want to talk about something that's a little bit tough, and it's kind of the judgment when you feel judged by your own family. We've talked about the judgment of others and how to manage that, and how that doesn't really matter. We need to do what's best for our kids and our family, and other people are going to judge, and we really can't let that affect us. But it's really hard sometimes to separate ourselves from what we feel is judgment in our own families. And I can recall when my kids were a lot younger, I would have family members say, hey, we're going to go do this as a family, come along. And we knew that it was not going to work for us. And so we would say, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. And they'd say, well, come on, we'll help with your kids. And you know what that means, right? It means they'll go with you. Your kids will go wandering off or whatever they do that's hard to manage, and you'll chase them down, and they'll have their good time while you chase your kids all over the place and try to manage them. They don't understand. I'll never forget one time one of my family members said my wife and I hadn't been on a date in 5 years because we couldn't leave our kids with anybody. And a close friend said, hey, we'll watch your kids. Well, they had a pool. And we said, well, okay, we're going to trust you. This is serious business here. You have a pool. Well, we'll keep them inside. We'll lock it so they can't get to the pool. And we said, okay. And, we trusted them. They were good friends. And we even left our 2 older sons there to kind of keep an eye on things too. We trusted them more than we did adults because they knew. Well, we got back a couple hours later and their clothes were in the dryer, my 2 kids on the spectrum, because they had fallen in the pool. And my 2 sons had been watching them so closely that they caught that and were able to fish them out. And and so then we say, what? The clothes are in the dryer. What happened? Oh, nothing. It's no big deal. Well, then we got home. My sons told us they fell in the pool. And we were furious. And this isn't that unusual, right? Because people don't understand the kind of diligence you have to have with some of our kids. And so they don't understand when they say, come do this, let's go do that. And you say, it's probably not a good idea. And they say, well, why not? I mean, come on, you should. And they kind of make us feel guilty, right? And so, it wasn't until we implemented 2 things, and I want to share those with you, that we really started to escape really those feelings of guilt for us. And it really kind of repaired our relationship with our family. Because your family can be we know they care, but they really don't understand our specific circumstances all the time. And they're not ever going to. So let's give them a pass on that. But the 2 things we did was number 1, I remember when my wife and I decided we were going to create 3 rules for our family. And this is as we were creating our curriculum for Thriving in Chaos. And they were this: we're going to do what's best for our family long term, even if it's hard. That was going to be 1 rule. Number 2, we were going to do what was best for our kids on the spectrum long term, even if it was hard. And that meant sometimes we had to do things that other people didn't like. And number 3, we were going to do it in a spirit of love. Okay? That meant sometimes our family weren't going to like what we were going to do, and sometimes they would say, oh, come on, why aren't you doing this? The rest of us are doing it. Or go with us here, and we just didn't have the money, or whatever the circumstances were. But it still was tricky until the second thing we came up with, which was this. We realized when we couldn't do certain things or didn't want to do certain things because of our situation, and our family said, well, you should really go, or why not, or come on, right? It made us frustrated at them, or it made us feel guilty. And both of those things were what we called them controlling us. And that wasn't healthy, because we were doing what was best for our family, doing what was best for our kids on the spectrum, and we were doing everything in a spirit of love. So why should we ever feel guilty or frustrated with other people when they start to pull this? And we realized what we were doing was letting them control our minds and our thoughts and how we felt and our frustrations and our concerns. And it wasn't fair to us to allow them to control that. And it wasn't fair for them when we allowed them to do that. And so a lot of this was about, when they would do that, is us to say, we're doing what's best for our family. We're doing it in a spirit of love. We know what's right. if they say something else, we're not going to let that affect us in any way. We're not going to be mean to them, but we're not going to let that affect us in a way that discourages us or makes us feel frustrated or angry or guilty about the situation. And that really, absolutely released us and allowed us to do what was perfectly right and the best way we knew how to manage our family. It was really a release for us, and it was fantastic. And, you know, I kind of want to, I'll never forget when I saw the movie Dinner for Schmucks. And there's a part where a guy thinks he has brain control and a guy thinks he has mind control, and they're controlling each other by doing this crazy stuff. It's brain control and mind control. And it reminded me of how we used to let our family control our moods and our states and how we felt. And it wasn't fair to them or to us. And so when we released ourselves from mind control and brain control, and I'm going to put that link on here. It's a little crass, so watch it up until they say a bad word and then turn it off. But it's really kind of funny and kind of gives you a description of how, when we allow that, if we're doing what's right, if we're doing what's best for our family and for our kids, and we're doing it in a spirit of love, we should never allow them to control our feelings or our minds, and we should be okay with that. So I'll put that link to that brain control versus mind control on here. I think it's on YouTube. It's a real funny scene. You'll want to watch it. But let that really sink in, how silly it is for us to let them control us. And hopefully that's helpful. If you're interested in what we do on the Insiders, let me know. I can send you a link to go check us out. We'd love to help you if these kind of things are problems. We talk about this in a lot more depth in the Insiders together. So talk to you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.